What's up, fight fans? Welcome to my channel. This is Johnny, and today we're going to be going over the statistics that nobody talks about when mentioning the upcoming clash between Romero and Isaac Pitbull Cruz. Guys, today we're going to be going over the resumes of both fighters. We're going to be comparing and contrasting their body of work. There's a huge fight, I'm sure you guys know, coming up this weekend, a huge card from the T-Mobile Arena in Las Vegas. It's headlined by Tim Tszyu and Sebastian Fundora, and co-headlined by Romero and Pitbull Cruz. So today we're going to rewind the clock and look at both fighters' individual roadmaps. Basically, what have you done for me lately, their body of work, their strength of schedule, and we're going to add up their opponents' win-loss record on the night that they fought said fighter, and we're going to come up with an equation and a percentage to look at Raleigh's path and Pitbull's path. They both have a common opponent. They both lost to that common opponent, and we're just going to add up some data and see going into the weekend who has the edge. Are there any edges in boxing, or is it kind of one of these things, who shows up on the night of the fight and who does it better? What we like to do is gather this data. It gives us a little bit more to talk about rather than just saying, I like this guy for this reason, or I don't like this guy for that reason. It gives us some data. So before we compare the two fighters, let's break them down individually. And what I'm going to do is start with Raleigh. And we're going to start with some facts that we know about Romero. He currently sits at 15-1 with 13 knockouts. That's a high knockout to win ratio of 87%. He is currently ranked number 8 in the world, super lightweight. He's 28 years old, from the US, orthodox fighter, standing at 5'8" with a 68-inch reach. He calls Las Vegas home, and Romero is currently the WBA super lightweight world champion. What we're gonna do, guys, is rewind the clock back on Raleigh's career 5 fights ago, and we're going to add up these win-loss records, starting off with the Marinez fight. Going into that fight, Marinez was 19-0, UD in the 12th. Sparrow, 10-2, knockout in the 7th. Egypt, 24-1, knockout in the 7th. Gervonta Davis, 26-0, knockout in the 6th, lost. Barroso, 24-3, knockout in the 9th. So let's grab our calculators. Let's add this up real quick. If you take all 5 of his last fights, opponents' win-loss records, they equate to 103 wins and 6 losses, which gives Romero a 95% strength of schedule. He's fighting guys with good records, and over his last 5, he sits at 4-1 with 3 knockouts. His only loss is coming to Tank Davis. Now let's switch gears here and talk about Pitbull Cruz. He currently sits at 25-2 with 17 knockouts, and he has a 68% knockout to win ratio over his career. He is currently ranked number 13 in the world in the super lightweight division. He's 25 years old, hailing from Mexico, and he's 5'4" orthodox fighter with a 63-inch reach. He proudly represents Mexico City, and his adoring fans call him by Pitbull. If we rewind the clock in his career, 5 fights ago, he fought Vargas, 27-2, UD in the 10th. Tank Davis, 25-0, UD in the 12th. He lost that fight. Gamboa, 30-4, knockout in the 5th. Ramirez, 27-2, knockout in the 2nd. And Cabrera, 21-0, split decision in the 12th. Keep those calculators near you. Let's add the win-loss records up for Pitbull Cruz. That equates to 130 wins and 8 losses from his opponents, which equates a 94% win-loss ratio. And over his last 5, he is 4-1. His only loss, again, coming to Tank Davis, and he has 2 knockouts. He finished Ramirez and Gamboa. So guys, let's compare the resumes. They're pretty similar. Romero has a 95% win-loss ratio with his opponent's strength of schedule. Pitbull's is a 94%. They do have a common opponent, Tank Davis. We know that Raleigh got knocked out against Tank, while Cruz took Tank the distance. Cruz fought Tank 1 fight before Raleigh, and a lot of people have been screaming for the rematch for Cruz versus Tank. Now, something that's interesting in this matchup, in my opinion, Both fighters are coming off a bit of controversy. We saw what happened with the Barrasso fight and Rolly Romero. The referee had a weird stoppage, gave Romero the victory via knockout in the ninth when Barrasso was just shelling up against the ropes, and the referee stepped in, and that's how Romero became a champion. Cruz, on the other hand, coming off a bit of a lackluster performance. He didn't look like himself. He fought an undefeated Cabrera, and he won via split decision. His timing looked off. His distance and range management looked off. He just didn't look like the same guy. That's why this matchup has a lot of intrigue. Which fighter will show up? The Rolly Romero with power, the one who will stand in the pocket and trade and go for broke and look for the knockout? Or the Pitbull Cruz, the one who's aggressive, going to push his opponent up against the ropes? Styles make fights, and I like this matchup stylistically. We know Rolly is going to be the taller fighter by 4 inches, and he's going to have a 5-inch reach. Cruz is the younger fighter by 3 years. It's going to be a classic USA versus Mexico matchup. Co-main event, Las Vegas this weekend. There's only one thing left to ask you guys. Who you taking? Rolly Romero or Pitbull Cruz? Let me know your answer in the comment section below.